Let's talk about Corsair, the transportation management system. You've talked about some of the principles that have gone into Corsair. What is different about Corsair, and why should they adopt Corsair as their transportation management system?
Yeah. So again, we have our handful of core principles, right? And the main one is that it is a user forward system and it is highly usable. If you follow Gartner and their Magic Quadrant and all the things that people are looking for in a modern TMS, over and over and over, you see that they need it to be usable. The more usable a TMS is, the easier it is going to be for users to pick up and learn how to use it. So your training times are going to be shorter, which is also going to be less expensive. And then in that short amount of time, your users are going to be able to work through way more shipments, right? The throughput is going to be significantly higher than with the competitors. We're making sure that there's tasks you're doing every day, 500 times a day. That task had better take you 1 or 2 clicks tops, right? You don't want to be entering locations into your TMS and it's taking you 7, 8, 9 steps just to get all the information you need to do something very, very simple, right? If you're doing something every single day, it needs to be very, very easy. And we're going to be absolutely sticking to that core value no matter what.
I would say, first of all, ease of getting started, right? These TMSs that are out there, they often fall into different categories. One of them can be they're very small, they're very simple, and others are very complex and hard. We're bridging the difference between those things, right? We can scale up, we can scale down. But one of the beauties of that is the way we designed setup. Again, pushing it out to the user. We can literally, excluding integration, obviously, which could complicate things, but even that we're much faster on. But speaking Corsair itself, our setup, and we can have somebody up and running in an hour. Because so much power and thought has been put into how do you get people using the system, realizing the benefits of the system quickly as compared to some of the ones that we know of that are out there. And then the usability, as Matt mentioned, just that knowledge. And we hear it over and over again where customers are concerned with the training costs as they have turnover, as they have to educate, as they have to scale. They need an enterprise system that can scale with them either up or down. How do you do that in a cost-effective way? And I think we've designed that. Corsair is very different in that people can get into it quickly. They can learn it quickly. We can customize it quickly to different users, different people, different roles and different permissions, different views, but still keep the information that's relevant to each person's role or the person, like that user. What do they have to do? We focused on those jobs to be done. What do they need to have happen? And how do we enable that so that it's not a burden on their day, but we're actually helping them get that job done faster and faster?
Yeah, and that speed of onboarding is a pretty genuine piece of Corsair. We can get a customer up and running in an hour, right? We can have that customer trading EDI files with partners within a few hours. Meaning within a day, not only are you in our system using it, but we're now integrated with carriers and vendors. The thoughtfully engineered part of that plays into this whole life cycle of a shipper or 3PL that purchases Rygen software, right? And then all of a sudden they're part of our ecosystem and really leveraging all of the benefits that come with that.
I think it's fair that on the integration, we knew early on that we would have to integrate the integration with business partners, integration with potential competitors. Different people are going to have different situations based on what they already have in-house, what they were looking to do, again, what problems they're trying to solve. And we just took a very agnostic approach to that and said, look, yes, believe we have got the best functionality, but if you're using something that you maybe either need to lock into, it's legacy, we can connect to that, we can enhance it, we can replace it. So we can play in a number of ways. And that's a tribute to the architecture that we did and Tony's team is built out.
One of the things that I love that you all have done is developed it alongside people actually doing the work every day. Talk a little bit about that journey of developing this and getting to make what you think should have existed, but at the same time making sure it works in the real world.
Yeah, %. So one of the key things that we stick to is that we want everything we do to be practically delivered. So what's that mean, right? A huge part of my job is to go sit with clients, see what they're doing day to day, and identify problems that they have every single day. That's very important because if we're just dumping features on them that we think are cool or think are good, but don't really actually provide any value to their business, then we're absolutely missing the mark. And so we make sure that we are constantly working with clients, asking them questions, sitting down with them, sitting behind their operators and asking why they're doing this, why are they doing that, why are you leaving Corsair to go do these functions? Does Corsair not provide this for you? And we really want to make sure that what we're providing actually matters and it's something they use every single day.
The care that I've seen put into making sure that an operator in their day-to-day work, they enjoy using it, that they're not having to go through abnormal steps. We got a couple of stories of actually going and sitting with users and watching them use the software. I remember there was one situation where we watched them, they had 3 different apps open. Talk to us a little bit about that and how that led to a feature.
Yeah, so there's a really silly, simple use case, right? When you're entering in an LTL shipment, when you're entering in line items, you have to put in a freight class for that line item. And so we were noticing that, and for whatever reason, we didn't automatically, we let you pick a freight class, but we didn't really do anything for you or on your behalf. So I noticed what was happening is every single time somebody would enter in an order, they would enter in the line item information, leave Corsair, go into an Excel spreadsheet that they had built that would take the weight and the density information and come up with a freight class. And then they would then leave Excel spreadsheet, go back into Corsair and select the appropriate freight class. And I'm like, they just spent like a minute going over, re-entering in this exact same information and then just copying it over there. So I'm like, that's silly. We could write this feature in 30 minutes. And so sure enough, next release, we had an automatic feature that automatically sets the freight class for you. And it prevented them from leaving the app one extra time, saved them a minute for every single line item they had to enter.
Which is significant. It eliminates an entire customized spreadsheet that they had to have with macros built into it. They had to make their own functionality to do that. One little trip up there to watch people do it in real time eliminated that.
Yeah, and that's one of many examples, right? That's the kind of thing that we're constantly uncovering, and we're really proud of that.
And I think, too, at the macro level, we've had great partners to work with, and we're constantly validating what we're doing with the real user world, right? Yeah, sure, we have the experience. Sure, we've seen it. We've done a lot. We think we know a lot, but we don't know everything. And different people are going to use it in different ways. And so we're constantly checking in with the client. We're constantly checking in with our users. To Matt's point, we just gave a simple example, but we're doing that constantly to say, are we on track? Are the things that we believe we're trying to accomplish the things we actually are accomplishing? We want to be different, and we want that positive. I mean, as a team, that's one of the great things to lead this team, is that everybody is focused on solving the business problem. And I think in today's world, we hear so many corporate things where it's just a throwaway phrase, right? They come up with some catchphrase and they make everybody memorize it, and so everybody can say it by heart. You got to believe it. Like, customer service has to be at the root of the company. If it's not, it really doesn't matter how good the product is. Sure, we need that, obviously, but you got to be focused on solving customer problems. And especially as we grow, as we get better, as we improve and add to our capabilities, I think as long as we have that as the core, we're going to be successful, and we're going to have a lot of satisfied people. And we see that now. We get a lot of positive feedback with people using it, oftentimes just the usability factors. People are seeing it right away and reacting to it. And I know that makes us feel good as a group, as a team, as a company.